All right, it's go time. People are starting to come in. So let's just give them a second to filter in. Everyone, welcome to our February webinar. Super excited you guys are all here to talk live chat on websites. Just a reminder, our chat is always open. So we like compliments and questions and talking amongst each other in our chat. Feel free to pipe in there. If you guys already know the answer to something or you're doing something at your school, feel free to jump in the chat. But everyone, welcome. Today, I'm so excited because we are going to be talking about live chat on websites, which I just see a lot of schools doing. Some are doing it right, some are doing it wrong, some aren't doing it all. So we are gonna, get down to it and ask all the hard questions. I want to welcome our guest, Eric. Eric, welcome.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself to our beauty school community and tell us a little bit about your company?
Sure. I've been in the contact center industry for 25 years, I hate to admit, and it definitely wasn't something I thought that I was going to be doing when I was in high school, but that's where I ended up. And about 13 years ago, we started doing live chat on higher education websites, primarily for-profits, nonprofits, public, private. And um, for most of our clients, it's become their number one converting lead source. The way that we answer live chats 24/7 and either transfer them into their admissions reps or set appointments for them.
Awesome. Well, I know we have a lot of schools on here that some are multi-campus schools. We have some schools that are, just one or two campuses. So we are going to make sure for our entire community, everything we're talking about should be geared toward everyone, right, Eric? Whether you're small or big.
Absolutely. We have, small massage schools all the way up to some of the largest universities in the country.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. I want to talk a little bit about websites in general because, I've been seeing schools do lots of different calls to action. Back in the day when I was a marketing director of a beauty school, Eric, millennials loved options. So we wanted text us, chat with us, call us, email us. Like, here is a Cheesecake Factory menu of options. You choose how you want to speak to us. What I'm seeing today is a little bit of a shift with Gen Z, not wanting so many options when it comes to calls to action. They need to be a little more like funneled to a specific area. So I want to talk a little bit about how you feel about different calls to actions on websites with different ways that people can get a hold of you. What do you think is a good best practice?
I think and you would know better than me, you're probably right. Less options might be better at this point in time.
Mm-hmm.
That has evolved. I think the most important thing is getting in contact with that person as quickly as possible. Everyone talks about speed to lead, but
Yeah,
it really is true. So if someone is going to fill out a form and not get a call back for 2 days, you shouldn't have that option on your website unless they're going to get called rather
great point.
quickly. So I think whatever it is that is going to help you get back to that person as quickly as possible, that's the call to action that it should be, because ultimately people have questions and
Yeah.
they're buying, we're selling them going to school, and it's a high ticket intangible item. So
Mhm.
really the first person they start to develop a personal connection with is has certainly the leg up on who they're going to enroll with.
Yeah. So then when it comes to live chat on websites, what was the evolution of that? When did this start and what did beginnings of live chat look like?
That's a really good question. And for us, I had been in the contact center industry, and we were handling for some large for-profits. We were answering their phones after hours. We were calling leads that their admissions reps couldn't get in touch with. And at that time, this is going back to 2009, 2010, a live chat software company came to me and said, "Hey, you're in the call center business. There's this new technology." So I would say 2009, 2010.
Okay.
called Live Chat, and we have a bunch of clients to refer you. Well, they didn't have any clients to refer us,
Mhm.
but I went to my higher ed clients and said, hey, how about we try putting this on your website? And they said, yes, we tried it ourselves and we didn't answer them in time. No one was available. Our in-house people didn't respond effectively. Sure, give it a shot. And to this day, those clients are still our clients, and it's their number one converting lead source to enrollment.
Because you are doing live chat differently. So before we talk about what you're doing, I want to talk about why I don't like live chat. I'm going to be very honest. I've been anti-chat girl for a while. So, I've been in the school space for nearly 15 years. And when schools ask me like, hey, should we have chat on our website? The chats I've seen make me say absolutely not, because Eric, honestly, they are disguised lead forms. They're not chat. It's like it is baiting people to fill out a form, and then that company is charging you 25 bucks, when it's like, if you're going to fill out a form, fill out a lead form. Like, why are you filling out a chat form where no one's going to answer your question and you're just going to be like, that's a great answer. Let's get that over to our team. And I'm like, what's the point of you? So that might be uncomfortable for you to hear, or maybe you've heard it before, but what are your thoughts on that?
I actually agree with you. And I tell people that if you're not going to answer it 24/7 with a live person who's educated on your school, you should not have it. Because
Okay.
otherwise, your first impression for that prospective student that is at that moment in time they landed on your website, you're going to set a bad brand impression. What they want to do is talk to someone right then and there.
Yeah.
And so our approach has always been building an in-depth knowledge base with our clients. So when someone comes and says, do these credits transfer, or do you have this course at that location? We're able to give them intelligent answers right away and start building a relationship. So I think you're 100% right. If someone is going to say, hey, can I have your name and number? And someone will call you back, don't have it. If you're going to
Yeah.
have a chatbot that is going to answer questions wrong and have pictures of people kind of baiting people that they're going to end up talking to a live person, and
Yeah.
then they go all the way down this funnel, and then it says, we're sorry, no one's available. Someone will get back to you. Don't have it.
Yeah, I think you lose trust with your lead, and specifically people who are younger, Gen Z, born with an iPhone in their hand, and they have been used to getting answers all the time. Like, they are used to instant gratification. So, oh my gosh, I'm that way. When I'm on a website, even like Southwest or like any website out there that has a customer service chat, if you aren't in real time getting back to me, what's the point of you? Like, if anything, it just pisses me off and makes me not want to work with your company.
You're wasting people's time.
Yeah.
One of the underlying things, unfortunately, I lost my mom at a really young age. And so I know time is our most valuable resource and the only non-renewable resource. And so if you're wasting someone's time with your chat, don't have it.
Yeah. I think that's really good advice. So, for everyone on this call, everyone watching the recording, we're going to be talking about live chat in a different way, in a more innovative way, really a way of answering questions effectively. So let's talk about the sole purpose. What is the purpose? Why should a school even have live chat on their website?
Well, you spent all this money to bring, this was my original, the two reasons. One of the first things that got me excited about live chat was I heard MIT did a study, and everyone probably knows this study, but they did it 10 years ago. The chances of contacting an internet lead dropped by 100 times from 5 minutes to 30 minutes. So if someone's filling out a form and you're not calling them right away, you're shooting yourself in the foot with all of your marketing spend. The other thing is you've spent all this money on SEO and digital ads and everything to bring these people to your website. Well, guess what? If that visitor is on your website, that is the exact second in time that they're interested in going to your school. 3 hours later, who knows? Their life can change. The negative messages in their head that says, I can't afford to do this anymore, or I can't go to school, I don't have the time, I don't have the money. All of that can change literally in a half hour, the way our lives change so much. So you spend all this money to bring this person onto your website. And if you can pop up and start a personal conversation at that second in time, which, by the way, is often 7 o'clock on a Tuesday night when your admissions office is closed,
Right.
or Saturday at 3 o'clock is when, the kids are out with their friends and I can finally look at this. If you're not going to be available with a live person around the clock, it's not going to work for you. It's just, you're going to just tell the person that you're calling them back. So you might as well just have them fill out a lead form.
Which is
So
hilarious because that's like the time a lot of schools will only enable their chat. They're like, well, we're off on the weekends, so we'll put a chat on there, which is just
right.
as lead form. And I'm like, so you're not going to chat with them when you're at work, but you'll chat with them when you're not. Like, it makes sense.
And that is, again, the most valuable seconds in their decision process. They came down your funnel and landed on your website. That is prime time to convert them into a prospective student.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, then, what are your thoughts on just a school doing their own chat and answering questions in real time, as opposed to using a third party like text chat?
So, of course, when we have large state-run multi-campus nonprofits and all of the bureaucracy and the labor unions that even get involved with how can we co-source, or I like to call it co-sourcing now, outsource to a third party, our labor union will never go for that. We've had to really jump over a lot of hoops and high barriers to prove to our clients that we can get as educated as your own in-house admissions reps on what you offer. And the way we do that is we're actually starting to use some AI now, not to answer the chat, but to
Thank
help
God.
to help our agents look through a knowledge base of information quicker so they can really perform well. And believe it or not, what ends up happening is our agents become as educated sometimes with all the turnover in enrollment departments. We may know how to answer questions better than some of the in-house people. So it's a living, breathing, ongoing process developing that knowledge base of information. But with technology today, we can really build the knowledge base to the point where we can answer the questions as well as your admissions reps. But with that being said, our goal is always to get the chat over to an admissions rep or set an appointment for an admissions rep so they can really take the student to the next level. But, there's a lot of fear out there to trust someone else with their brand. But,
Yeah.
look at our clients. We've proven that we can do it.
So you bring up a good point. And the fact is, admissions reps, they can't sit next to their computer all day replying to chats. I mean, your reps should be touring people all day long. They should have 8 or 9 tours a day. Like, they should be busy with that. They should be following up to see who has done their FAFSA so they can move them over to a packaging appointment and financial aid. Like, there's a lot of hats that admissions wears. If another company can take this off their plate and still give them stellar customer service, why not? Another thing that's interesting is last year I had a guest where we chatted about using a call center team, someone to literally, the whole point of them is to book appointments. This sounds like if schools are thinking about hiring either one person to work remotely to do that, you really don't even have to bring on someone else with a full salary. You could just use a service like this to essentially be booking appointments for you via chat.
And generally for a smaller school, what it costs for us to answer these live chats intelligently for you
Yeah.
24/7 you couldn't hire someone for $10 an hour to answer chats 24/7 for what it costs to outsource it. So, we see it all the time. And think about that ROI. Let's just say it's a smaller school and it was $1,000 a month. We have clients that are $1,000 a month. How many enrollments does it take to be able to have the ROI for $1,000 a month
Yeah.
to have your chats answered intelligently? And I will say one thing, we do have in our software the capability where if someone absolutely insisted that their agent or their in-house admissions rep have a shot at answering first, we can do that where if they don't answer within 15 seconds, it can overflow to one of our agents, or
Okay.
if they're doing tours, they can just push a button and on demand our agents can answer. So we're one of the few platforms that have that capability as well.
So then let's jump into onboarding. I'm a beauty school owner. I decide this is perfect for our campus. We want to try it out in a couple campuses or, whatever, or for all of them. How do I get you up to speed on how I want questions answered?
That's a very good question. And usually the first question that any school
Sure.
asks us when we're talking to them. And we've been doing this for 10 years, so we have perfected the process. And we also know that schools are busy and have a million things going on and are short staffed. So we like to do a lot of the heavy lifting for our clients. The first thing we'll do is we'll go to your website and we'll scrape all of the information that's on your website and start tailoring that to our knowledge base. We also ask you for any information that you may have that you think would be relevant for us to respond to prospective students. And then we build it into a knowledge base that is an online knowledge base that we share with you back and forth. And it's a living, breathing thing. Dates change, courses change. There's things happening all the time. So it's always evolving, this knowledge base. But once we have that knowledge base, that's really the key, because our agents are doing this all day long for dozens and dozens of colleges and schools. So for them to know how to search to get the right information, that takes training, but it's not a lot of training. It's really all about building that knowledge base.
Okay, so I am going to probably ruffle some feathers with this, but there is two schools of thought when it comes to answering questions, either in person or online. So this is what I want to talk about for a second. Someone comes in a chat and asks, how much does it cost to go here? What are your schedules? We have one school of thought, which is probably like half the schools out there, that believe in we are not answering these questions. We are showing value and we are pivoting them to an in-person tour, and we will address those questions then. Then you have Jen Lyles and other people that feel like, no, you're going to lose trust, answer the questions, and then ask a follow-up. So I believe in answering those questions, effectively gauging it by doing a follow-up question. And of course, building value and all that stuff, still pivoting to a tour, but regardless, saying that these are our schedules, answering how much tuition is. Do you have personal thoughts on that when it comes to your chat agents, or do you just go with whatever school of thought the school you're working with stands by?
It's always the school of thought that our school is working with, but I would
Gotcha.
say I lean in your camp, where I'd rather be upfront and honest, and you're building a relationship here. And I think by
Sure.
showing that you're not afraid to throw that number out there is fine. Like this is saying, here it is, but let's continue to talk.
Yes. Okay. So your agents will do both. You have them trained on both sides. You guys don't take one opinion or another, which is important, I think, for our community to know, because I know beauty schools are very down the line with that too. Some feel one way. Honestly, do whatever you
It's
want.
always,
A/B test it. You know what I mean? Like see
yeah.
what's going to get you better results. I want to talk about scheduling tours. Scheduling tours this is the goal. This is why someone would, of course, this is why I would use you. Like if you can schedule me a tour, great. So let's talk this through. Are you integrating with every CRM out there? Are you doing something else to help confirm appointments? Can you walk us through how you schedule and confirm tours?
So, that was always, when we first got started, a big challenge. How can we possibly be integrated into every CRM? Now, if a CRM has an open API, we can integrate. We're a tech company. We can integrate pretty easily into any CRM. But in lieu of having that happen, what we've done is either our client just simply gives us access to their CRM. So
Okay.
our agent goes in and schedules the tour right inside their CRM, or they'll create a form for us where we will schedule in that form or give us access to their calendar system, whatever it may be. So our agents are adept, they're college educated, they can be trained to do it however our client wants to. And usually it's a lot easier to get going just to give us access into your CRM or create a form for us, as opposed to going through a full integration, because clearly we can't be integrated into every CRM out there.
Sure. Okay. So let's talk about show rates. Historically, booking over the phone, your agent booking your admissions rep booking a tour over the phone is going to have a better show rate. And all the studies show that. We know that. That said, I still believe that you can book and have great show rates through text, and through chat. So how do you see show rates on these tours? Because you're building rapport with someone you're not going to be meeting with. Are you handing it off to an in-house rep to where they are doing at least the confirmation or a follow-up before that tour to make sure they show up? What are your best practices with that?
Yeah, generally our clients' CRMs handle the follow-ups
Okay.
once the appointment's set, usually a
Your
text.
goal is just to set the appointment, and then it's up to the school
Yeah.
to do all the other things to make sure they show.
Now we can, because we do texting for a lot of our clients as well. We can, do texting for follow-ups, but I would say 95% of the time, the client is handling it in their CRM.
Got it. Okay. So let me just go off on a 60-second spiel on how to get people to show up for your tours. I have a 3-part system. One is, as soon as the tour is booked, you should be sending them a text message. It should have the day, the time, where your school is. It should also say, please check your email for a detailed instructions on what to expect during your tour. Gen Z needs everything up front, all the information possible, or they don't show up to things. They will not go to a restaurant unless they've looked up the menu ahead of time. They will not go to a concert unless they know the parking situation. They need to know details. So I believe in sending, again, first part, text confirmation. Second part should be an email. This is what you should wear to a tour. Tell them what to expect. Everyone at our school wears black. You're not a student. You can wear whatever you want. I want you to be comfortable. Who can I bring? Bring a decision maker with you. If you have a parent or a spouse or a friend, or come alone, it doesn't matter. Like, you guys should literally be detailing what to expect, what we're going to go over, how to have expedited enrollment by doing your FAFSA ahead of time. Having an asterisk, this is not necessary. You do not have to do this before you show up, but if you want expedited enrollment, you should go ahead and do this. Again, lay it out. So that's part 2. Part 3 of the system should be confirming the text the day before or the morning of, if it's an afternoon appointment, not giving them an out. Do not say press R to reschedule, C to cancel. We're not giving them outs. We are literally saying, we can't wait to see you at 1 o'clock today. I can't wait to meet you. Please, there's open parking. When you get here, text me you're here and I'll meet you outside. Or when you get here, walk in the front door, turn to the right, tell the girl at the front desk you're here to meet with Jen. This is how you get people to show up for appointments. Those 3 things. All right, I'm off my soapbox. So now we're going to go back and talk about live chat some more. Okay, so now we know that you guys do some tour scheduling. Do you have a bunch of different reps that work all of your schools, or would a school kind of have like their dedicated rep to where they know the ins and outs of the programs and everything?
Believe it or not, our reps are adept enough to handle multiple schools. And that's where the cost effectiveness comes in. If we had to have one rep dedicated to your school, with where, and we all know where labor rates are today, it would
Yeah.
be cost prohibitive to do it for any one school. So for all schools, even the biggest schools, those reps are handling for multiple schools.
Okay, cool.
So it's
That's
a shared cost basis, which makes it cost effective for us to be answering them 24/7.
absolutely. Now you guys have text chat in your in the name of your company. This isn't, it's not live chat. And you guys were formerly, was it JetSpring?
It was JetSpring before as a call center. Now we're
That's how I
text.
think a lot of people know you. That's how I knew your company, as
Yeah.
JetSpring. So now that it's text chat, that tells me that maybe we can go from a chat to a text, or explain
That's
that.
that's right. You know, chat in its nature, you're connected by the internet. And a lot of people are chatting on their phone. So one thing that we do is when we start a chat with someone, we get their phone number and we get the opt-in to be able to text that person. Very important that you have a disclaimer to start the chat, and it does not cancel people out from doing chat. If they came down at that second, they're researching your school, they're willing to give you their phone number. And if they're not, you know, maybe they'll fill out a form or they'll just be a visitor that goes away. So often, which can certainly happen, is someone's mobile, they lose a connection to the live chat. Well, we build in technology now where with the press of a button, as soon as a chat gets disconnected, we text the person and say, hey, we got disconnected. Hey, you know, Susan, we got
I love it.
disconnected. I would love to, you know, I'm still here for you. Feel free to text me anytime to keep the conversation going. And, you know, the purpose of that is if no appointment was set or, you know, before you got to that point where the chat gets disconnected, we want to keep the conversation going offline in the channel they prefer most to set that appointment.
Mhm.
So that's where the text chat comes in, that capability. The other thing we can do is we can take all of the chats that we've had, and for those chats that haven't converted into a set appointment, but the student was still interested, we can text them again, and we end up converting another 30% of those people into set appointments. So right
Right.
from inside our software, we just follow up. Maybe at that second, at that time, they didn't want to set an appointment, but when we text them 2 days, 3 days later, things have changed. And so we generally see about 25 to 35% of our initial conversations will result in an appointment.
Great.
But when we text them after the fact, for those that didn't, we get another 30%, which brings us up to close to 50% of the people that we start a chat with end up booking an appointment.
Yeah, no, that is fantastic. We do have a question in the chat. Oh, which CRM systems do you recommend that work well with our industry? If you're talking about beauty schools specifically, I can recommend the four most used are Illumina, which is made by Ciena. I think they're great. They have a lot of really good features to them, and their dashboard's excellent. Verity IQ, which I believe started from Velocify, which no longer works, takes on new clients, but was really big in the school industry space a few years ago. I know several clients who use Verity and really, really like it. The third one is Campus Login. I'm familiar with lots of schools who use them. They have texting straight in their platform, like all the other ones do. And then the fourth is Lead Squared. I used to recommend Lead Squared. They used to be like my go-to. And then I saw a lot of people leaving them for various reasons. They have fixed so many of their problems, and I love them today. And one of the things I really like about Lead Squared specifically is that they have all their admissions paperwork directly in there that you can send people. And I think some other CRMs have that as well. Regardless, those are the four that I would suggest. Contact them all, demo them all. Some people also use HubSpot, Salesforce. Those are some other options, but those are the main ones that I see in the beauty school market. Eric, do you have any other ones?
I mean, in the non-beauty school market, I would say Salesforce,
Yeah.
Slate, Element 451, Fire Engine Red.
Okay, I'm not familiar with those last two you mentioned.
Yeah, those are
Okay.
some of the bigger ones in the non.
Yeah.
So,
Great question. I want to talk about what it looks like on a website. So let's just bring up one of your clients and let's talk me through it. Also, I'm gonna, this is something that is just like a personal pet peeve before I open up the website. When I'm scrolling and like the chat keeps coming up and you're just like X, 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 X. Like if anything, the chat at that point just pisses me off. Like we're not even friends anymore. How do you feel about that? And will you pop up the whole time I'm scrolling?
so we won't pop up the whole time you're scrolling, but I will tell you this. Having one pop up drives 50%, and I've seen this for a decade,
Sure.
drives 50% more conversations with your website visitors. So as annoying as it does drive more conversations. The way to do it right is to simply have an X where someone can exit out one time. You
Yeah.
don't want to continuously pop up, but sometimes, believe it or not, people come to a website and they never even realize the chat is there. People are scanning and they're going fast.
Well,
And if
people are delusional because like it's like the first thing I notice, especially if it is there. And I like what you said about the X. Fine, you want to pop up once, I'll give you a pop up, but just keep the icon in the corner.
exactly.
Personally, was how I
I
feel.
mean, look, we're in the business of, converting website visitors into enrollments,
Yeah,
and it drives 50% more conversation. So I can't,
that's
you
fair. That's fair. Okay. Concord, am I on the right side? This
yeah,
is
this is one of our
this is one of
clients.
your clients.
Yeah.
All right, so this right down here, this chat now, if I click that
Sending someone down this questions and answers and blah, blah, blah. And then they say, a really big Fortune 500 company just did this to me the other day, where after the chatbot couldn't answer any of my questions, then it asked me for my.
ooh, we're good now. Okay. Gonna bring back up Concord. Did you have anything else you wanted to share before we?
Well, you can bring it back up. You're not going to actually start a chat with one of my agents, but um, what I was talking about was how it's important to capture the information up front. I mean, you're building your database here. You're
Agreed.
spending to have live agents answer 24/7, but don't put a person through a painful experience and then ask them for the information. That's, in my opinion, of doing this for 10 years, the wrong way to do it.
So,
Second,
Eric, how many people go through the chat that have already filled out a form in the past? Do you have data on that? Like, are these basically duplicate leads, or is this bringing in a new number of people who did not fill out a form?
it's generally bringing in new people who have not filled out a form. I
Got it.
mean, in the
Okay.
back end, we check everything, but it's
That's
generally.
actually helpful to know though, because the ones that are disguised as lead forms, the data is showing that a lot of them are just duplicates. Like these people that come in, it's like they're not getting the answers they want. So then they just go through the regular form. Or they go through the regular form. The speed to lead at that school isn't great. No one's getting a hold of them. So then they go back on the website and then they enter the chat. And so like it's a double lead. Um,
In
Makes
my
sense.
opinion, the most important thing is making sure they get answers however they're trying and
Yeah.
talking to them. So, at the end game, the end result is what you want, which is the enrollment. So, whichever way you're open to them. But what I was going to say about that chat, once someone would hit submit, um, our agent would pick it up within 10 seconds, hopefully. And we actually have dashboards where our clients can see in real time how fast we're picking up their chats. So we're kind
Okay.
of holding ourselves to the fire. And my agent will start to answer questions. And after answering a few questions, our agent will be able to see who's available in their admissions office to take a
Hmm.
chat transfer. We don't do that for every client, but some of our clients have 100+ admissions reps available to take these chat transfers because they know it's their number one converting lead source. because that person's down the funnel and on the site and ready to ask questions. So
Okay,
with
you've said that now a couple times. You've said a couple times about the number one converting lead source. Give me the receipts, give me the numbers. Is this Concord or all of them? Like you guys are analyzing by media source?
yeah, so everyone looks on their enrollments
Of course they do.
on
Yeah,
the
where did
back
these
end.
people come from originally?
Yeah. And so when they look at where was the first contact, whether it was a lead form or a phone call, live chat is the number one to
Wow.
enrollment from those three sources, because we give a great experience when the student comes to the website and they're like, wow, this is an easy place to do business. I came at 11 o'clock at night and someone is answering my questions intelligently. This is a place where I could see myself going. So again, we have the option to either transfer to an admissions rep who is available and we can see whether they're available, or we'll just go ahead and schedule an appointment for an admissions rep.
I mean, the proof
Yeah.
is in that data that this is the number one converting lead source. We all know that sources are not created equal. Referrals are, if you have a really good referral strategy, referrals are always going to convert so easy, usually half the time. But usually digitally, your website is your best lead source because that's that's the lowest funnel lead. But this is even more, this is more of a high intent because they're already asking questions.
Yeah, I wouldn't even say we're traditionally like a lead source. We're a channel. What I should say is highest converting channel, right?
I
Like
mean, I would say source, but yeah. I mean, say
it can
I
go
see what
both
you're saying.
ways. Yeah.
Sure, it's on the website, but still, it is a different source. It's a different way. What about having a chat on your landers, your PPC landing pages?
Absolutely. We have clients that put chat links in their emails and
Mm,
they convert tremendously. You know, however
smart.
you can speed to lead and get the conversation going, that's the difference between schools that are increasing enrollment versus schools that are struggling with enrollment.
Yeah, I would. I think it would be a good idea. Knowing how much schools spend on their PPC campaigns, the only goal of a PPC campaign, it's a stripped down version, right, of your website. It's a landing page. And
Yeah.
so it's like fill out a form and you would probably also have a click to call on there. But adding a live chat on there is also something schools should test. If anything, I always say this, just A/B test, see if it lands, see how well it's working for you.
Yeah, and one thing that's been coming up even more recently, because we work with a lot of digital marketers in the higher ed space,
Uh-huh.
they're saying to me, how can you help me prove my ROI to my clients? And we can Google tag the chat so we can show that the person came from the ad all the way through and started a chat, and they really like that. Whereas if a student calls, they don't necessarily get the credit for it. So the fact that we can actually Google tag the chat is helpful.
So, do admissions teams find your company a threat to them or a help to them?
I would say at times, sometimes initially they find us a threat, but then once we start sending them real-time transfers of students that are really interested, they
Yeah.
start to like us more. And then the other thing is they know that they're not going to be able to answer at 7, 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night, weekends and those things. So they start to realize that they're getting more leads than they've ever had before, and then they start to like us. It's not
And
always it's
yeah, I
not
mean,
always a love relationship on day one, but after they
sure.
see the results, they start to like us.
So, you guys work closely with admissions teams, even with a call center?
Yes. I mean,
Interesting. Okay.
our clients have big call centers. And even though they have call centers, they're really two different disciplines. Someone who's good at communicating and typing well and communicating that way isn't necessarily the person that's on the phone. The other thing is, if someone is on the phone making calls all day, it's very hard for them to accept the chat in the middle of that and get them distracted
Yeah.
from what they're trying to do. And then also admissions teams, even in a call center, a lot of time they're talking to, prospective students. So how are they going to answer a chat then? So it's a
Sure.
different discipline. And I think that's why schools that have call centers still use us for their chat.
Yeah. So if schools on this call watching the recording want to work with text chat, what is the best way to do that? And do you have to have a minimum, a certain amount of students in the building, a certain amount of leads you're getting a month? Share that with us.
Yeah, so I would offer pretty much any school that's on this webinar a free 30-day trial to prove it out.
Oh,
So,
okay.
and the reason why we'll do that, and that costs us a lot to do that because our agent labor is, handling those. So what I would say is we gauge how much volume comes in that first month, and you get to test like they can really do this or not.
Mhm.
And then based on that, we figure out how much it's going to cost. And as in terms of, how to get in touch with us, they can email hello@textchat.com and we'll get back in touch with them. Or on our website, you can set an appointment, a Calendly appointment for a demo.
I will add that, you guys, right here in the chat for you. So you can check out the website, you can email them. Love that you're offering our community a 30-day trial. I mean,
Yeah,
jump on that, everyone. Jump on that. Just try it
it,
out.
I'm so confident that they'll become a client that
Yeah.
it's worth us to take the hit on the front end because it is real labor that we put towards it. But, once they get comfortable with the fact that we're really good at answering questions as opposed to just saying, like everyone else does, hey, can I have your name and number? And someone will get back to you.
Yeah.
Like we said in the beginning, don't do live chat if that's what your live chat
Agreed.
does.
I'm glad that we made up after I said I was anti-text chat, any sort of chatting service.
Yeah.
So that I'm with you on that. Don't we? It's the same thing with like, don't have your phone number on there if you're not going to answer, don't have your texting number on there if you're not going to text back. Like I love a lead form because that gives the power to the admissions team. That said, if you are not quick to get back, your conversion rates are going to tank. So this sounds like a great solution. Everyone jump in the chat if you have questions. We have a few minutes left here at the end. I do hope you guys email and take advantage of a free 30-day offer. I would love more beauty schools to have effective chat, live chat on their websites, just so I have the data for that. Again, I've been telling everyone not to use chat. So, maybe I'll make a link.
Thanks, man.
I apologize. I was wrong.
It's fine. It's fine.
But I wasn't wrong, really, like the way I've seen
You
chat.
really aren't. And I would add to that, don't have an AI chatbot. This is an
Yeah,
expensive, intangible, time-consuming decision. And it's whatever technology you're using, and you say it, make sure you're answering the phone, make sure you're getting back in touch with a text message. It really is about creating personal connection, using technology to create personal connections as quickly as possible.
yeah, yeah. No, I think it's great. Also, AI scares me compliance wise. The more schools that are like talking about AI so much, I'm like, listen, no one loves Chat GPT like Jen Lyles. I have planned every summer vacation I've had in the past 2 years, or just all mini vacations everywhere through Chat GPT. We write our subject lines for emails and headlines for emails from Chat GPT. We love AI. But please be careful because you can get in a lot of trouble compliance wise. And you know that, which is why you guys don't use it for
Yeah,
listening.
I mean, we work with a lot of large for-profits, and they would never, companies that have been in business for decades that do
Yeah.
hundreds of millions in revenue, and they would never trust an AI chatbot to God forbid, say something discriminatory or,
Or
give out wrong information, any of that could really be detrimental, could put you out of business.
yeah, absolutely. Well, I have loved having you on. This has been a really great chat today with you about chat. Thanks to all of our community for jumping on. We are going to, of course, continue to have more webinars every single month this year, like we've been doing for the past couple years. We do have a question from Melinda. I'll go ahead and read it for you. How do your agents handle Sunday chats for those schools in which admissions reps don't work on a Sunday? Do they book a tour and appointment for a Monday? Do they answer additional questions? What does that look like?
Sure, it's a great question. And we do what our schools ask us to do. So absolutely, we can schedule a tour for a Monday. We can answer questions. I mean, ultimately, we want to get the student in for a tour. So scheduling for a tour would be my preference for any
And you
client.
guys will work off hours
Yeah.
24/7. So you
Yeah.
guys,
So it doesn't matter to us whether it's 11 o'clock at night or Sunday or Saturday, whatever it is.
yeah, that's great. And that's especially wonderful for if I'm thinking if I'm an admissions rep at a school, how great would that be to come in Monday morning and be like, "Oh, I just had a bunch of tours booked for me this week and this weekend I don't even have to get back to them. I mean, that's a dream. Maybe you mentioned this, Zachary says, but do you send the transcripts of your chat? Oh, we actually did not mention this. I'm so glad you brought this up. Do you send the transcripts of the chat to the school so that we can review them before the tour?
Absolutely. And we go even one step further. In our software, you can see the transcripts as they're happening in real time. So that's one thing I like about Outsort that I always thought was nice about live chat. It's written right there for you to see. There's no like us doing a bad job. You're seeing everything we're doing in real time, but also we email a copy as well. So a lot of our clients set up a separate email just for all the transcripts to go to so they can, look through. But all you have to do is log into your admin portal and you get to see the transcripts in real time.
And then if you have a login to the CRM, like let's say someone's using LeadSquared, you can log in and then would you copy and paste that in the notes section for them if they want that?
Correct. Yeah, that's exactly what we do. We just take the whole chat conversation and put it right in the notes section.
Perfect. Love that. That's wonderful. And I'm assuming from there as well, if there is something that a rep is like, no, we can't say that, or I gave you misinformation, or we raised our tuition and I forgot to tell you, or something like that. It's always good to go back and read those and make sure you guys are giving the most accurate information because everything is coming from the school.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. Awesome. Good question, Zachary. Thanks for saying that. Does anyone else have anything else before we go ahead and jump into our chat? Just a reminder, Beauty Schools Marketing Group will be at lots of events this year. So we really hope to run into you. We are going to be, for the first time ever, at the SPEC conference with all the T-SPAs in the nation. We are also going to be at FAME. Those are a couple new ones we're doing this year, but we will be at all the NACAS events, AACS, MAX, FAPS, and we're even going to be at Hill Day supporting everything going on right now in our industry. So I hope if you plan to come to an event this year, you will reach out to me so I can make plans to meet up with you for a coffee. I like mine venti iced coffee, no classic, 3 pumps of white mocha. So write that one down. Yay, Anthony, I know I'll see you at SPEC. This has been super fun. I'm really glad that you came on our fun, casual conversation, Eric, to meet our beauty school people here. And I hope we can have you back. Thanks again for everyone joining today. You will get a recording to this webinar tomorrow in your inbox. So look out for that and forward it to your boss and say, we should do live chat. Right?
Thanks, Jen. Thanks everyone for taking
Bye.
their time.
Everyone have a good day. Bye.
Bye-bye.